Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This is Graham here. As you see, you're looking at my notes. You're going to. No, this is what I got on this thing. I won't read it all, so if you guys want to read more, read it. Oh, I'll scroll through it all. Golem. Not Golem. Not precious. Not that golem. An actual golem. The myth of the golem originates in the idea human beings might be able to have living creatures from clay, just as Golem made Adam. God made Adam. The most famous golem is the one made by Rabbi Judah Liao, the Mahara of Prague, who inscribed a clay man with the word Emet, meaning truth, and then he spoke the divine name and brought him to life. The golem protected the Jewish community from persecution, but was also difficult to control and ultimately dangerous, so the rabbi deactivated him by erasing the first letter of the word emet, leaving the word met, dead. The golem tales of early modern jewelry finding parallel in other modern tales of the creation. Of course, Frankenstein, the Sorcerer's Apprentice. The golem remains first favorite monster in popular culture. Day golem is a clay creature that has been magically brought to life, and the name comes from the Hebrew word golem, which means sometimes something corporate or unfinished, like embroil. Relates to the rabbis who first grew hungry while the journey, so they created a calf out of earth and ate it for dinner. The Kabbalist Jewish mystic determined that the rabbis did this magical act by means of promoting language. Well, as you can see, it talks about all this. You can see all of that. Now to the story. Now to the story. What you're here for. What I love to tell you guys. Stories. Okay. Well, as you all know, that we were still in Israel. And, the thing is that couple of weeks ago, we got a phone call from Sarah's friend, like I said, to bring us down here. And we ran into that other friend of Sarah's who no longer has an archaeological dig site. I say that like I care. Didn't get paid. But this we were going to get paid. We had to hunt down said golem. Yes, this golem. We had to hunt it down. Someone had brought one of these things to life to kill certain people. Rich people and a certain clan of people. If you want to call them clans. I don't know what to call them, Israel. We call them clans. It's a family, a group of merchants. They had gotten a group of merchants together to create their own guild, so to speak. That stuff's been around for years. There's been merchant guilds for hundreds of years, dating back when people started dealing with jewelry, money, stones, gold, such as that. Even the US dollar is an IOU for silver or whatever. That's what it originally started as, an IOU. Not many people know that. Just putting that out there. Now, This is what happened. A merchant had did a family wrong. A rabbi of that family, or son or daughter, decided to right the wrong by creating a golem to destroy all of the merchants guild in that city. The woman that is hiring us was a merchant in that city. Family member of hers was killed by this golem. Now, we went on a golem hunt. Now, this thing was not made of clay. It was made out of iron or steel. And suddenly, we had to find out who it was going after next. And quickly. We did. The next victim was a friend of another merchant by the name of Isha or Ijma or Ishu. I forgot his name. This was a friend of Sarah's friend. He was the next target. And we had commissioned to have weapons brought from the U.S. here because of this, through the Merchants Guild. They were willing to pay us more if we destroyed the golem. Period. So, an RPG, C4, and grenades. How do you think we got the C4? So me and Sarah and Jim went golem hunting. We set up camera traps all throughout near Isham's house, near it, around it, wherever we knew he was next. Because his name was written on the list, put it that way. Sure enough, we've heard buildings were walls were being knocked down. This thing was coming through walls. This thing was not clay. This thing was metal. Me and Jim went about setting up the traps of C4 and I was lobbing grenades at it to get its attention. It did. The grenade actually hit it, and it started coming towards me. Not its intended target, but now I was its intended target because I hurt it in a way. It took a swing at me, and I did not want to be hit by that, so I got out of the way. It took another swing. I was dodging, looping. I was moving back, forth, dodging, getting out of the way, rolling, boxing terms. I did the mistake about hitting it and it hurt. I think I may have busted my knuckle on it. I was bobbing and weaving, dodging. So Jim got this bright idea as I was doing that to run up to it and strap C4 to its back and 4 grenades just to make sure. He set a timer for about good 10 minutes. Why 10 minutes? For one reason. We were going to let him go after his intended target, who was about 30 miles away at that time. In the desert. Just as the thing was leaving the city, just as it caught wind of who it was after and it was leaving the city, he went after. It left the city. Jim pushed the button, the timer started. 10 minutes later, boom. Big boom. Large boom. The thing was still alive. There was only one way to do this, and that was from the myth, and that was to make it mint into met, which meant dead. I had to erase that, but that thing was carved in there with a welding torch. So one of us had to get on top of it or get on it to erase that somehow. We needed a cutting torch, and we needed it down long enough to where we could do something. We could erase that. That was the only way we were going to get that. We were going to need distraction, and we were going to need a cutting torch. Not a welding torch, a cutting torch. We got a hold of a cutting torch. It was hard to do. And it was still after him. This thing was relentless, and it wasn't going to stop, and we knew it. So we went after it, and we finally got it, but we were going to need to hit it hard. The RPG was the only thing that was going to hit it hard enough to bring it to its knees. We were going to have to hit it at its knees, back of the knees, to knock it down, at least down to one knee. We needed it with an impact. We needed an armored vehicle. There was one. We got one. It was hard. Military didn't want to give it up. But then when they sent someone after it, and it kind of killed everybody in the squadron, they were more than happy to lend us an armored vehicle. All those people that were losing because this thing was alive. We got on there. We got in that armored vehicle, and we hit it as hard as we could. It finally went down onto one knee. Now, how long it was going to stay, I wasn't sure, so I made sure the vehicle was on its back of its leg. Just to make sure. Jim jumped on top of it and marked out the letters that did not need and left the ones that we did to make it met. It didn't move. It was just a statue in a kneeling position. The military carried it out of there to make sure that nothing like this, it would not be reactivated. They melted it down and gave me a little souvenir. I'm not going to say what that was, but with that done, we left. On to the next adventure, I guess. With that said, guys, good luck. Good night.